You can trace the evolution of the Beatles by their lead guitars.
Yeah. George Harrison had different guitars to match all of the phases of the Beatles' career.
Because if you want to understand how four guys from Liverpool completely rewired modern music, you have to look at what they were actually holding.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're talking about guitars being smuggled across borders, casually given away, and eventually auctioned off for just staggering fortunes. And to trace that evolution, you have to start at the literal, unglamorous beginning.
Right, so let's picture it. Late 1950s Liverpool. A teenager completely obsessed with rock and roll. His dad buys him his first guitar, this cheap 3-pound Dutch-made Egmond acoustic.
3 pounds! Which, even adjusted for inflation, is basically pennies. It was the ultimate beginner's guitar, super stiff, cheap wood. It never left his family's collection, but it's legendary purely because it is so incredibly ordinary.
I mean, I love that trajectory. It's like a kid furiously pedaling a plastic tricycle in the driveway while daydreaming about driving a Ferrari.
Ah, that is a perfect analogy. And as the quarrymen were forming, he moved into his early electrics, like the single cutaway Hofner President and the Club 40. But his first real decent guitar, the one where he really leveled up, came in 1960.
Oh, right, the Black Gretsch Duo Jet with the Bigsby tremolo?
Yep. And this thing survived the absolute grinder of the Hamburg Star Club residencies. We're talking damp, cramped clubs, totally grueling hours, plus the official Abbey Road audition. But the wild part is its afterlife.
Because he just gives it away, right?
Yeah. He just hands it over to his friend Klaus Forman, the guy who designed the Revolver cover, for 20 years. And then in the 80s, he gets nostalgic, asks for it back, and puts it right on the cover of his 1987 Cloud 9 album.
Talk about a quarter-century photo op. But as the band goes from cramped clubs to conquering America, the gear had to evolve, enter the jangle of Beatlemania.
Exactly. You get the Gibson J160E acoustic electric. John Lennon and George actually bought a matched pair. John's was lost for decades, but George's stayed close and drove those early acoustic hits.
And for the Ed Sullivan Show, with 73 million viewers tuning in, they had those dark red Gretsch country gentlemen and Tennessean guitars.
Yeah, such an iconic look. But the Rickenbacker 36012, that 12-string with the fire glow red sunburst finish and the distinct R tailpiece, that really gave A Hard Day's Night its famous jangle.
Okay, wait, hold on. I have to push back on this Rickenbacker story because he was the second person in the world to own one, right?
Right.
So F.C. Hall just hands him a prototype in February 1964.
Yeah.
Like, was this just brilliant corporate marketing?
Oh, absolutely. It's a total masterstroke. They just bypassed retail entirely and handed their prototype straight to the most influential guitarist on the planet.
Basically saying, here, play this on TV for 70 million people, please, and thank you.
And it worked. But, eventually the touring had to stop. The screaming from the crowds was just deafening. The music was getting way too complex for Paul McCartney, Ringo Starr, John Lennon, and George Harrison to simply recreate on a live stage.
Right, so the studio becomes their whole universe. As their minds and the music expanded, these guitars basically became literal and figurative canvases.
Which brings us to the cherry red Gibson SG Standard, used super heavily from Revolver onward. There's that great photo of him playing it next to John Lennon on his Epiphone Casino.
Yeah, that SG is legendary.
And he actually gave that SG to Pete Ham of Badfinger, an Apple Records band. Sadly, after Pete's tragic passing, it ended up selling for a staggering $1.8 million.
Wow, $1.8 million. But speaking of canvases, we have to talk about the Sgt. Pepper era.
Oh, definitely. The psychedelic shift.
They get these expensive matching Fender Stratocasters, and they basically treat them like an elementary school figure painting class, right?
Huh, exactly. George's Strat, Rocky, is just this wild neon pink, red, yellow, and green masterpiece. He painted words like Bebo Palula and Go Cat Go on it, plus an ohm symbol. It completely captures the creative freedom of that era.
And it's still with his estate today, which is amazing. But as they move into the final years of the band, the music gets heavier and the stories behind the guitars get, well, incredibly chaotic.
Enter Lucy.
Right, the cherry red Gibson Les Paul.
Yep. And it had an insane lineage. It went from John Sebastian to Rick Derringer to Eric Clapton. Clapton gives it to George in 1968, and then literally weeks later borrows it back to play the solo on Che, while my guitar gently weeps.
I still can't believe he pulled the ultimate take-back just to play a solo on his buddy's song. But the craziest part is the heist.
Oh man, the heist. So Lucy gets stolen from George's Beverly Hills home in 1973. It ends up in LA and then gets sold to a guy down in Guadalajara, Mexico.
So George basically acts like an international guitar detective. He's negotiating a hostage exchange across borders.
He really did. He tracked it down and literally paid a ransom. He traded a pristine 1958 Les Paul plus a Fender Precision bass guitar just to get Lucy back.
He traded a 58 Les Paul and a precision bass guitar. That's wild. For you listening, a precision bass guitar is a foundational, hugely valuable instrument. And didn't that 58 Les Paul sell for like $300,000 later?
It sure did, just based on its pedigree and the ransom. But there's one more guitar we absolutely have to talk about, the Rosewood Telecaster.
Oh, the Fender prototype couriered to Apple in December 1968.
Exactly. He played it on the famous rooftop concert. But then, keeping with his usual pattern, he just gives it away to Delaney Bramlett a year later.
The casual generosity just blows my mind. Like, thanks for the gig. Here's a priceless prototype.
Right. But decades later, in 2003, actor Ed Begley Jr. bought it at auction for over $430,000 on behalf of George's widow, Olivia, bringing it right back to the family.
That is so cool. I mean, when you step back, for you listening, these weren't just tools. This is a map of a man's life.
Absolutely. It maps out his friendships with guys like Klaus Voormann and Eric Clapton, his immense generosity in just handing these guitars over to people on a whim, and his family's enduring love in buying them back.
It perfectly shows how the instruments musicians leave behind just absorb the soul of their history. It's fascinating.
Yeah, they really do.
Until next time, when you listen.
Your mind conducts its own symphony.
Hey, do you like free stuff?
Yeah, of course, especially when it's Beatles stuff.
Well, you're in luck, because our new book, Beatles Rewind, is free today on Amazon and YouTube.
Huh. That massive book we just wrote called Beatles Rewind, Essential Stories of John, Paul, George, and Ringo, and the music that never gets old.
That's the one. We're giving it away today.
Are you crazy? I worked my ass off on that book, and now you're giving it away.
Guilty as charged. So there's two ways to get it free. You can download the ebook free from Amazon, or listen to the entire audiobook, all 12 hours, free on YouTube.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I forgot. Okay, we'll put the links in this video description for the free ebook and audiobook. And or you, listening, if you have a browser handy. For the book, just go to BeatlesRewindBook.com. That will get you to the Amazon book page.
Right. And for the audiobook, you can go to BeatlesAudio.com, and that will get you the YouTube audiobook.
Anything else you want to give away today?
That's it for today.
Oh, okay. Beatles forever.
The links are in the description of this video. You can download the book for free from Amazon and read it on your phone, tablet, or computer, or you can listen to the entire audiobook for free on YouTube. So the links are below, and also, if you have a browser handy, to get the book, go to BeatlesRewindBook.com to read it, and BeatlesAudio.com to get the audiobook free.